Unlike very many people that enter Dubai, all the airports, all in the airports of United Arab Emirates, that is Sharjah, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and very many, me, I was different. I was among the few percentage that enter with a different motive. I entered Dubai looking for refuge. Secondly, looking for a different place where to settle in. It wasn't in my mind to come for a job. But guess what? After that long queue, being ushered in by those white dressed and black beautiful counter attendants, I was received by a very terrible hit on my face. It took me a moment to open my eyes as I entered Dubai officially. What I expected, if you're coming to Dubai, don't expect greener pastures, as in terms of green environment. Don't expect rivers being from like our countries, e.g. like in Uganda. It was different. Straight away as I went to my accommodation, my dreams were crushed. Because the days I was preparing to come to Dubai, I had the dreams of waking up, go to the window, draw the curtains in those beautiful, nice, looking, comfortable rooms. But where did I go? I went to the bed space. I was ushered in a room of 3 decors. I think 3 to 4 decors. And that brings it to around 8 or more than 8 people. 8 ladies. By the way, the good thing, they were only ladies. So, guess, this is where it was. And guess what? The down beds, there was no bed. So I had to use the upper bed beside the door. Climb and go to the upper bed. My first experience, or my first day, it was sorrowful because I last climbed on a decker bed when I was in high school. So this is a lady coming from a different environment. You've been driving, going to work. Now you're climbing the decker bed in a land that you felt you had dreams in. It was so peaceful, by the way. And that day passed. The second day, I was called to go to an interview. Me having known my degrees, my diplomas and everything, all the degrees and my experience, I went to Abu Dhabi with a file of my experience. And guess what? Jobs in Dubai, most of them are not based on qualifications, are not based on what exactly is true. The jobs are based on the CV. Why do I say CV? Most people alter CVs depending on the job they are going to do. But here me, I go with my professional standard CV. And can you imagine the job I was going for, or they were taking me for, the friends I escorted? I got the job. I wanted the job of a manager. It was a hotel or restaurant, first class restaurant. But I got the job. But they gave me supervisor in a hotel. Christine from a corporate life, office, research, administration. Now you are the head of waitress and waiters. Life was not simple, and it was very beautiful because I came to learn something in life. Well, before that, exactly, I don't take you far. What do you expect in Dubai if you come, especially in accommodation? They have different kinds of accommodation. We have what we call bed space. Bed space, this is what I told you. It involves decors, 1, 2, 3, even sometimes 4. So, and the range goes from the ones which are 2, it goes from 700 dirham, that is around 700,000 Ugandan shillings per bed. Just you deck a small one where you sleep. So then we have bachelor's rooms, luxurious rooms, guest house hotels, where you find the guest house. There are some guest house which are 150 per day. That is so cheap as that. But we have even up to 500 and above. But who uses this? According to my experience, I came to know majorly it was West Africa that come direct for visit and they go to their rooms. But majority, like East Africa, they got bed space. That's why we went to bed space and they took me to bed space. So what do you expect, especially in transport? As I was going the second day for my interviews, I found out in Dubai you cannot cheat transport. However, there are some people who are culprits who do cheat transport. You have a card. It is called null card. This null card, when you tap it, you tap it. You tap in when you're entering and you tap it when you're going out. Without it, you'll be arrested. And if you don't have funds there, still you'll be arrested. No one is going to follow you that you have no transport. It's your conscience. It's your security. You know it. So we moved in a bus, public transport. So in Dubai here, we have public transport, taxi and buses, trains and trams. But you can't be surprised. Even we have private taxis whereby they are not accepted. You're got in a private taxi, you either be arrested, you as a customer, or the driver himself will be arrested. However, people continue to use them. You can't believe that. Yes, I moved in a bus, I came back, but what was next? What was waiting for me? A lot was waiting for me. A lot of dynamics. Imagine in Dubai, the life, living in such life. I lived in a bed space for not more than 4 months. Even after getting my job, I got my job on the first day, my first job, as the supervisor in a hotel, well paid. If you go to put it in my country money, it's around 4.5 millions. Your first job, no experience. Barbecue, no experience. But wait and know what is there. The experience here matters because you'll be tortured. And if you kindly want to work in Dubai, you have to be prepared. No joke. You have to sign in and sign out. Anytime you don't work, automatically you'll not be paid. Even when I fall sick or when you fall sick, you either satisfy that you're sick or your salary will be cut. So imagine I lived in such life. Do you think you can manage it? As I told you, I really want you to know the experience of Dubai as in terms of employment. There are very few who are like me that came to look for refuge, at the same time hope, settlement, new environment. There are very few, but the majority on every basis come to look for jobs across the globe. Across. No one should lie you it is only Uganda. No one should lie you it is only Philippines. No one should lie you it is only Rwanda. Every nation is represented here. But now, I would love to tell you about the experience on employment. Here, most jobs are not based on your qualifications. Most jobs are not based on your CV. And by the way, what are the major jobs that I found here? Or you will find here if you want to come to Dubai? The first jobs and most jobs, you'll go to hospitality. What do you find there? You're going to find there waiter, waitress, baristas. Most my country people have turned out to be baristas. If you talk about barista in my country, some people will think of lawyer and other things. But here, baristas, those are people who make coffee, who make mocktails and juices. Then you'll find, apart from cashiers, sales, then you go to sales consultants. Majority involves about that. Then come now and you go to housekeeping. People are coming for housekeeping. These are the most common jobs here. Housekeeping. These are cleaners. People who go and clean in the hotels and other things. Then you come to security. Security is also the job that is there. Then nursing assistants, teachers, office administrators, everything, all the jobs are there. Your qualified field is there. But do you think you'll get it? I think the percentage might be, I can put it at 30-70. You might not get it. Why? It's not based on your experience. It's not based on your qualifications. Here, what I came to find out. When you hear there is a job for a teacher, someone makes a CV for a teacher and researches on internet and goes and does it. When you hear there's a job for a waitress. You go to internet and say, have I ever been a waitress? My first job, even by the way, that one I will not say, I had to go and research. I was among the best candidates. I've never sold anything in Uganda. I've been a corporate lady working after university in administration, in human resource, in survey, in research. But here comes, I'm telling the interviewer, if you give me a job, I'm going to do well in sales. I'm going to do well in attending these people who are serving. But I remember they asked me, what is your experience? My experience now, when I came to know, I put Butter Uganda, that I sold Butter Uganda. But now here, they ask you, what are the products? Where do they mainly come from? They are made from where? You don't know, because you are never a sales girl, a sales boy. So but now it has gone to the extent that people train themselves on internet. And me, I trained myself, because as I was going in, I was like, you can sell a pen, you can sell this. So you search on internet. This is what is happening here. When you come here, people are doing the work. Bankers, but who are likely to get jobs? Arabic speaking, French speaking, English, yes. But what is the chance of you being patient for that job? Because that job is not coming in a day. The common jobs that are coming in a day are those jobs that you are not qualified or not in your field. How? What is the danger? Most people are taking up these jobs because of visa, because of stay. Most people, after you spending a lot of money coming to Dubai or UAE, you have either 1 month. By then there was 1 month when I came, there was 3 months. So the moment it expires, the date is expiring, you're planning to go out. So if you don't go out, you find yourself with fines. Now most people here, I found a word called kaliwali. Kaliwali is the word majorly used by the people whose visas have expired. And they stand a chance of being deported, being imprisoned. You can't get a job if your visa has expired. Unless God is on your side, your sponsor says, I'll pay for you. So most people are taking up jobs like that. That's why you find most of our African sisters call it from Nigeria, from Uganda, Cameroon, everywhere, Ethiopia. They run for these petty jobs. They run for low-paying jobs as low as 2 million, 1 million, that is Uganda money. They run for maids. They go for maids. They go for those cleaner jobs. Why? Because their visas are getting expired. What do you think? Do you think after hearing this, would you come to Dubai? Do you think in this episode, Dubai is fit for you? Can you manage to stay in Dubai? By the way, our jobs, we can work. I think it is 8 to 12 hours. And when you're on job in Dubai, most of the jobs, you don't use your phones. My experience in particular, I'm not permitted to use a phone. But I do use it because I know who I am. So with that wisdom and that knowing that who I am, I use the phone because there is a life behind every job. There is a life outside that job. That's what I believe in. But when you come here, the working conditions, my dear, they are not beautiful as you think. They are beautiful for somebody who is working and going just 3 months. But they are not beautiful as you think. Thank you for watching. If you like this video and if you think this content was good for you, kindly go. If you are new, subscribe to this channel. Leave your sweet comment. You can also tap on a notification bell such that the next episode of Life in Dubai should not bypass you. Thank you for watching. See you next week with the continuation of this video. Thank you. God bless you all. Hello, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to Immaculate's Show. This is Christine once again on Immaculate's Show. I'm your host, I'm your presenter, your sister, and your friend. Thank you very much for being with us, and thank you for last week. It was a very great pleasure to share with you that all experience, and it was an honor to see your comment, to see your likes, to see all the comments you sent, privately and both on the video. Are you new on this channel? Please, if you're new on this channel, don't fail to subscribe down. Just click that subscribe. Then you can also click on that bell up, notification bell, such that whenever we upload a video, at least you'll be notified. Thank you very much. Cheers to the ladies in Dubai. Thanks, because you are most 3/3 of the population that has been commenting, following me. When you go to analysis, thank you very much. God bless you. Keep that good heart. And to you all people that have subscribed and are sharing these videos and the posts of Immaculate's show, you are blessed also. Kindly follow us on Twitter, you follow us on Instagram, you follow us on Facebook. We are there to serve you and to also give you some highlights of the day. This week, what are we talking about? We are talking about a very sensitive, very sensitive topic. This topic is about Dubai and my experience in Dubai. Most people have doubts, have a lot of things in their mind, what they have heard, what the media is talking, and what everything around there. But I'm sure, and I tell you the truth, by the end of this show, you will understand whether Dubai is a country that facilitates prostitution. Is prostitution in Dubai legal? Are all ladies that are in Dubai prostitutes? Are there penalties or fines or laws that are against prostitution, and what are they? So by the end of this video, you'll have all these answers. So let's go. Let's see what we're going to talk about. The topic is prostitution reality in Dubai. Prostitution reality in Dubai. I'll just first ask, I know all of us, we've had a word prostitution, or we know what prostitution is. But to me, I can simply say prostitution, it is a sexual act between two people, a man and a woman, or a woman and a woman, or a man and a man, in exchange of money. So that is a simple. It has to involve money, and it has to involve two people. Now let's go and see, as Dubai, the way it is, the city, a better place to be in, a desert without vegetation, very many people around it from different countries. Do you think Dubai supports prostitution? To me, no. With proof, because I've been in Dubai for 6 years, and I've seen one of the things that Dubai is against is prostitution. And one of the best things that it does, it supports a woman. It protects a woman. It handles women like babies. If you've not come to Dubai, if you're a woman, just know you have a shelter as far as Dubai government is concerned. To the extent, women, you can step a man and move, because they know we are respected. By the way, Dubai has put in a special press for ladies in public transport, that when a man you're caught sitting in that press, you are fined. Strictly for ladies. That's the extent. In Dubai, you can sue somebody if he shows you that middle finger. You can sue him or her, because it's an abuse. In Dubai, you can be fined and jailed if they find you doing prostitution. So here I come. We consider Dubai's law, that is according to the Penal Code Act, I think it is 363 to 365. That article, you can go and read about it, of Dubai law. It really states well that prostitution is very illegal. And as far as Dubai is concerned, if you're caught in prostitution or involved in anything dealing with prostitution, you are entitled to have heavy fines, you are entitled to be imprisoned, or you have a chance to be deported. So, how does Dubai exactly classify the prostitution. Dubai does not say a woman is only the prostitute. Dubai law says if any person is caught facilitating prostitution, you are a criminal. So, meaning that class of facilitation. Facilitation, what do they mean? You can hire a building like this, you can hire accommodation, you can hire hotels, you can hire guest houses for people to come and do prostitution acts from there. When you're caught, you are entitled to be fined more than 100,000, not US dollars, more than 100 dirhams. In Uganda money, if I change it, it will not fit in this apartment. It's too much money. That is facilitation. What about the person engaging, a real prostitute who is doing the act? If you're caught, direct, you are imprisoned. And after being imprisoned, you are deported. No nonsense. Another class is a person who is forcing someone into sex in exchange of money. If you're caught also, you are going to be in prison for 6 months, and at the same time there is a charge around 100,000. If you hear 100,000 in Ugandan money, it's too much for me, even for you, just because of that act. Then there's another one like soliciting. That one is like in exchange of money in public for those acts. You will be imprisoned also and fined heavily. No nonsense. By the way, can I tell you something? In Dubai, my experience I've seen, there is no showing that romantic love kissing in public. Whether you're a couple or you're lovers or you're dating, you'll be fined. So coming from there, what is my experience in Dubai as far as prostitution is concerned? As I came, I know, I've heard, I've seen, I've touched, I've seen them, I've greeted them, I've communicated with the prostitutes. Yes, there is prostitution in Dubai. Like any other city in our countries, in Africa, in Europe, everywhere in America, everywhere, like the way they have prostitutes. Same applies to Dubai. Why do you think really? People tend to think all women or ladies who are in Dubai are prostitutes. No, it's not true. I came to learn, with the help of a survey, in Dubai, we have 2 categories of prostitutes. The reasons for those categories for prostitutes is this. There is the willing and the forced. Willing, because they want money, but I put those ones like 2 to 10%. They came from their country, carried their luggage to come and be prostitutes. They are there, highly paid. None knows. They might be your sisters, your neighbor, your boss in the next apartment, but you don't know. That one are there. Then the majority, I can say 90% or 95%. This one is from all over the world. All the nations are represented. You walk through the streets of Deira, you walk through the streets of, I'll not mention more, you will see your sisters. You will see the ladies standing for men. But when I happen to talk with one-on-one, some of them, they think or they say they have no choice. Why? People sold them. How did they sell them? It is through these companies we come with, or they come with from their country. They are not brought for prostitution. They are brought for jobs. Jobs like which ones? Which have forced them into prostitution? Jobs like maids, jobs like cleaners, jobs like home nurses. They come when they have already signed and they think they can do it like the way they are doing it back home. But when you reach here, the conditions of a maid in UAE is different from the conditions of a maid in Uganda, in Europe, in the Philippines. It's quite tiresome. Long hours, no going out, no passport, no anyone, no phone. 2 years. So these girls end up running away from their homes. Those homes, by the way, they have, like in our language, in our country, they call them ebyumba. Ebyumba, those are houses, meaning the housemates. So as they run away from there, they are faced with a lot of challenges. You can't stay in Dubai when you are not having money. Staying is money, working is money, eating is money, drinking is money. So they end up going for prostitution. But do you think, is it the wise one? No, it is not wise one. Why is it so? It's because they have been told you cannot get out, because they'll never fly out. Their bosses are put abscondents. They are looking for them. So they find association and hide there. They start doing like that. Do you think they are paid high money? Someone like that? I don't think. I was talking to one told me they can go for 20,000, that is 20 dirham, up to 100. Some. Whereas there are others who are professionals who can go for 1,500, like that. But what is the main point here? Not all ladies in Dubai are prostitutes. It's the same way, like you see, Uganda, we have prostitutes. We even come to social media and say, me, I'm a prostitute. The same way, the same as Dubai. And even Dubai is better, because Dubai does not tolerate prostitution. However, people are doing it because it's their choice. If you didn't do prostitution in Uganda, you can't do prostitution in Dubai. You have a choice to take. Which side do you want? So I'm talking to people out there, people who want to come to Dubai. They think you can do prostitution. What is my advice? Oh, as to my experience, prostitution in Dubai is by choice. It's like the way prostitution is in Kenya, in Uganda, in the Philippines, in India, and in any other country. So, I clear your mind, put it in your mind. If you have a sister, you have a brother to come to Dubai, let her know why she came. Why are ladies tempted in Dubai? They are tempted in Dubai to go into those acts because of money. Some say they started it as a joke. Someone will come, do shopping, give you everything in dirhams. When you turn it in your country money, it's too much. So others go for fun, to keep that money, to fool that money. But when you know what you are, when you know what brought you, that money, you can't go for prostitution because of shoes, because of luxurious life, because of a good apartment. No. So prostitution still, the way it is in Dubai is almost the same way it is in your country. Where do you find these prostitutes? How are they treated? These prostitutes are on streets during evening time, looking for business. You will see them, you'll see your sisters, you'll see all countries, you'll see them meandering around. But they are very sensitive to police. In a tick of an eye like this, they disappear. Do we know where these prostitutes stay? No one can tell you where the prostitutes stay. Do they have papers? Most prostitutes don't have papers. That's why they are in that majority. That's why they're in that business, because they don't have papers. Because no paper, no working, and no going outside the country. So they end up being like that. Have I answered some of your questions? How is Dubai being talked about in a bad way as far as ladies concerned? Why? Because most prostitutes have fallen from storage buildings down, running away from police, and die. Because most girls have been deported as quote as prostitutes, and they talk different stories. Most televisions, they want to hear that. Most media houses, they want to hear the negative. But what do you think? From the experience I've told you, it's a choice. You'll enter in the car, a man will ask you, how much? You enter in a taxi, you see the driver is fidgeting, burning. It's your duty. Like the way you're behaving, if truly you're not a prostitute in your country, the same, you will not be a prostitute in Uganda, in Nigeria, in the Philippines, in Sri Lanka, in India. You remain you. Do you know who you are? As ladies and ladies of substance, we know who we are. Being in Dubai, being in Canada, being in Italy, being in Oman, being in Saudi Arabia does not qualify anybody to be a prostitute. Ladies aim to look for money, to feed their homes, to feed their countries. Dubai is not a home for prostitution. It's a home for business. That's why the population of Dubai, the way, is more of men than women. There are more dangers we've heard about them of prostitution. Areas where they stand. But my experience is like, you have a choice. I have a choice. Have you been blessed by this? Do you think there's something you've learned from my experience on the truth about Dubai? If you know you've learned something, or if you know I've touched something about it, please leave your sweet comment down. Remember to send it to somebody, share it to somebody outside. Let it move around. Let people know prostitution in Dubai is a choice. It's not a force, it's not legal, and it is highly penalized. Let people know the people who go on media after being deported, most of them don't have papers. Let people know those companies that are hiring maids, are hiring cleaners, are hiring home nurses. Let them know what is on the ground before bringing the girls. Thank you very much. Stay tuned for next week's episode. It is going to be beautiful. It's still the truth about Dubai. Next week we'll be having a guest. She'll be sharing you with her life in Dubai. How has she coped up? How has she managed to live to her expectation? Thank you very much. Remember to subscribe and please click on the notification bell. I remain Christine on Immaculate Show. Thank you and bye-bye. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you are. Welcome back to Immaculate Show. This is Christine, your host, your facilitator, your friend, and your neighbor. Really sincerely, I'm very delighted that you've given me another chance to be in your space. Thank you very much, and thank you very much. Last week, part 2 of my experience in Dubai was really wonderful. Thank you for support. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for following, and thank you for sharing. Kindly, if you're new on this channel, go down and hit that subscription button. Don't forget to also click on the notification bell. Remember to share it to our friends, our families. Someone will be blessed by this video. Someone will be blessed by this experience. It has blessed me. It will bless you. Part 3 of this experience in Dubai. What is it all about? It has blessed me already. I'm sure it will bless you too. Just share this video. I'll start with my story. I'll start with my experience. Then you'll come to know about the topic. When I was coming to Dubai, when I put that thought of coming to Dubai, there are very many things that I heard and I was told while preparing to come to Dubai. What was the first? The first thing I was told, it was about, you have to change your wardrobe. By the way, I changed my wardrobe to only maxi dresses. I mean long dresses. Yes, I changed the wardrobe to the extent that I dropped very many things, because they said when you're going to an Arab country, you have to behave like a Muslim. I didn't carry my Bible. I put it aside. The only one thing I did, I bought a very beautiful rosary and I hid it in my suitcase. Can you imagine? Is it the same thing you're hearing? Is it the same thing you're experiencing when you hear about Dubai? Okay, my question to you is, when you hear about Dubai or United Arab Emirates, what comes into your mind? Most people think about religion or worshiping. So this is our topic of this week. And that's where my experience comes to. How was it like when I came to Dubai as far as worshiping is concerned? It was all a turnaround. What I expected behind was quite different with what I found on the ground. Can I take you small about Dubai? Dubai is an Islamic country. Literally, by constitution, it's enshrined to be an Islamic country. None other than that. We call it an Islamic country and it is Islamic country. The constitution, however, guarantees freedom of worship. What do I mean the constitution guarantees the freedom of worship? Dubai has a tolerance department. It has a tolerance law that every person, irrespective of which background you're coming from, which culture, you are free to worship. It has different centers. It gives you that room. You worship as you want. I'm talking about Dubai, but this goes to the whole of United Arab Emirates. When I came to Dubai, my first church I visited was St. Mary's Roman Catholic Church. It is found in Odometa. This is a purely Catholic church. It is seated on very big square meters of land. By the way, it has built. Can I tell you something about Dubai? However much it gives freedom of worship, it does not tolerate anything that will affect the morals of the public or will contradict with what they stand on. You are not supposed to convert any Muslim in Dubai because it's something like against the law. If you do it public, you'll be arrested. In Dubai, you have a freedom to do importation of religious materials. Call them Bibles, call them rosaries, hymn books, mention everything that concerns a religion. You are free to import them. So my experience has been very beautiful as far as worship is concerned. We have centers where we can buy Bibles also, hymn books, everything that you want as far as your religion is concerned is in Dubai. Dubai has put that conducive atmosphere that it also celebrates every religion's holiday. Is it called Chinese holiday? It will be celebrated. Is it Easter? Is it Christmas? All have a chance to celebrate them. So, what is that you heard about Dubai as far as worship is concerned? Let me bring you here, especially on religions that are found in Dubai. We have very many religions in Dubai, and they are all tolerated. They are all given the space to worship from. But mostly, they are not given a guarantee to build the worship houses. You are not also supposed to put, for example, like posters on top of the buildings about worshiping, or going preaching around the city or around everywhere. You are not permitted. Dubai has like 5 to 6 very, very standing religions. I'll start with Islamic. Islam consists of above 70% of the population, both the local ones and expatriates. Then when we come to Roman Catholic in Christianity, it stands a bigger percentage, more than 15%. That is according to the census of 2005. But in this, we have Protestants, we have Pentecostals. Pentecostals, those are born again, or part of the Protestants. Pentecostals are all over. Everywhere you'll find a born again. You go in any of the Emirates, you have a church to worship in as Pentecostal is concerned. We have Hindus, we have Buddhists, we have Jews. Call it any religion is found here in Dubai. Then the Buddhists and others, the Jews and others, they consist of 6% and above. Dubai has given a chance, especially to Roman Catholics, to put down their worship centers. We have major 5 worship centers of Roman Catholics. I went to St. Mary's, there is St. Joseph's, there is St. Francis, there is St. Paul. All these ones are in different emirates of Dubai. St. Mary's is found in Odumeta, that is Dubai. St. Joseph is found in Abu Dhabi. There is Francis, we have in Ras Kaima, we have in Fujairah, and we have also some small branches in all the sub-cities. So, having heard about this small experience, what do you think? Do you think you can freely come to Dubai with your Bible? Yes. In particular, me, I have my church. Recently, I talked of a seat of refuge. Some people were thinking maybe going as a refuge from, you know the word refuge in a knowledge form. But we have a center of refuge. Center of refuge or seat of refuge. This is God's kingdom citizen. This is one of the church that gives hope, and I found hope in. I found a word, people flopping in and out. So when you're coming to Dubai, you come prepared to look for a church. There is no one who will stop you going to worship. There is no one who will stop you going to pray at any time. This seat of refuge, for it has services almost from Monday up to Friday, because they have morning glory, they have lunch hour, they have instant intervention, they have faith clinic, that is on Sunday, they have Holy Ghost services on Fridays. What I forgot to tell you is most churches here worship on Fridays. Unlike our countries where people worship on Sundays, but most people here worship on Fridays because that is an official day for worship for UAE. And on Sunday, it is an official working day. So we end up going to worship on Fridays. When I began, it was so funny for me to adopt it, and I know that on Friday I'm going to worship. But it's so okay now that Friday we know we are going to the worship houses. In particular, me, I go to worship on Friday and Sunday. Sunday, I go to worship. Friday, I go to worship. If you reach in Dubai, just Google and put worship centers. Everywhere it's there. They have put that freedom of worship wherever you go in the 7 Emirates of Dubai. So my experience has been so beautiful, has been so great as far as worship is concerned, because I'm rich in my faith now. Unlike before, I've learned a lot of things as worshiping my God is concerned, and I'm sure, don't stop coming to Dubai, don't stop going to Dubai because you think you're not going to worship anywhere. We have centers of worship. In particular, if you come, you just give me a call, I can take you to my own seat of refuge. It is one of the best best worship center. It is Holy Spirit filled. So you have no excuse at all for you not to go to Dubai. Even if you are coming for any vacation, you're coming for visit, honeymoon, you have where to worship from, Friday and Sunday. So what is the excuse of someone saying in Dubai is an Islamic country? Dubai is an Islamic country, yes, you can visit it, and you have a freedom as far as your culture and worship is concerned. What has these worship centers helped us, especially to the people or to the Christians who are living in Dubai? They have helped us in very many ways, because we have a place of association. After you having that hard 5-6 days of work, we run and worship our God. We run and have communion with our friends, with our brethren. So there is no excuse for someone to say there's no worship center apart from Islam is concerned. What are the things that we can learn from Dubai, especially as far as worship is concerned? I've learned a lot, especially on tolerance. Muslims pray 5 times a day. Even when you're working with a Muslim, you have to be tolerant. You know those 5 times because that's their worship mode. They go to worship. Likewise, a credit goes to Dubai and to our companies and to our employees. Employers that give us a chance to go to church because they honor and they respect our different churches. So be rest assured and remove the myth, remove the thinking that Dubai is for only Islam as a religion. We have other religions. Kindly put down what you think or what you've heard about Dubai as far as worship and religion is concerned. You can note it down on the comment section. You are free to send me your email of what you think about Dubai as far as worship is concerned, or you can WhatsApp me. Don't call, don't call. Thank you very much. Please remember to subscribe to this channel. Remember to leave your comment and to like this video. Thank you very much. I remain Christine, your friend. Thanks for the support. See you next week. It will be another best experience. Bye-bye. Hi guys, how are you? Hope you're doing well and keeping safe. I'm doing well also, and really I'm keeping safe too. Welcome back to Immaculate's show. This week is another glorious week and is the brightest week ever again. Thank you for watching last week's edition of my experience in Dubai, and I believe this one also is going to be one of the best. I know someone out there, you will give it a thumbs up. Are you new on this channel? Kindly go down, click on that subscription button. Still, you can go down and click on the notification bell. Remember to like, remember to comment, remember to share to all our friends, families and contacts. This week we are going to talk about dressing code in UAE or in Dubai. Literally, when someone hears about Dubai, a lot of misconception, a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of thoughts come to people as far as dressing code is concerned. You know why? Because it's an Islamic country. However much it is an Islamic country, Dubai has gone ahead to the extent that its aim is to keep decency. Decency in a way that whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, you have to remain decent. culturally or by constitution, Dubai in particular and UAE at large, it's an Islamic country. We've been talking about it in the last 3 episodes. Purely, it's an Islamic country. So, being an Islamic country, other people are misquoting it that every person that goes to Dubai, you have to put on like Muslims. Today's edition or today's talk show or today's discussion, because I would love to hear from you what you think or what you had, is about the real truth about Dubai. So this edition we are going to discuss the code wears or the dress codes. How we are going to talk about the traditional dress codes. We are going to talk about leisure dress codes. Like, Dubai is full of pools, full of beaches. So we are going to talk about the swimwears. We are going to talk about work or corporate or office wears. All of them, we are going to cover them. Remember, there are main points before we enter to note. Dubai being an Islamic country, it enforces and it encourages, according to the law, every person should dress appropriately. Whether you're a Muslim or you're not a Muslim, you have to cover your body from head to toe. At least you have to cover yourself in a very decent way. Failure to do that, there are charges, there are fines. Even you can be imprisoned. Let me take you in a traditional wear now. Traditional wear in Dubai, they are so amazing. We have major like 2 colors of traditional wear, white and black. White and black, whereby the ladies literally put on black and the men put on white. And the ladies themselves, they have to put on something called abaya. Abaya is a cloth that covers most part of their body from the shoulders up to down, including the arms. It covers them. It is always black. But there are sometimes they put on and they mix up, especially summer seasons. Then we got there's what they call bulka, what they called kafia. Kafia is also sometimes called gutra. Most of you who have come for vacation, they normally use it. Gutra, it covers, it's a symbol for freedom, and it also protects them from sunlight. Most Arabic countries, they use that, especially who are in desert. You normally see it, it has checked colors, but remember, it symbolizes freedom to them. And it keeps heat away from them, as in it protects them from heat. Then we have agal. It's something like black that comes with kafia. They put it on top of kafia for it to protect it from falling. Then we have kandula. Kandula is majorly put on by men. And can you believe this traditional wear kandula? It is dressed as according to one's status. When it is long, it symbolizes something. When it is short or above the knees, there's somewhere it symbolizes, provided you what you hold in your community. Then we have gishwa, we have hijab. All these, you find them in Dubai. Now, you've seen ladies also covering their hands. Still, it is part of their traditional wear. They have also, sometimes they cover the face and it is always black, but it is transparent, but you can never recognize somebody. But they will see you, you'll see the eyes. Then, sometimes they have also another one they throw on top to cover their bodies perfectly. What did I learn from this traditional wear? Your beauty as a woman is supposed to keep confidential. You're not supposed to circulate it and show it to everybody. But they put on these clothes when they are coming outside. When they reach inside, especially in their families, they remove them. That is part of the traditional wear for Emiratis. Emiratis, those are the real owners of Dubai. We have another traditional wear. It's from Asia. You find it in India. Nepalese, you'll find it with the part of Sri Lanka. You'll find it is common. They use it, most of them. You will find their traditional wear here also. And they use it most of the times, especially when they have functions. What are these types? You will see people putting, one is called asali. It's one of the best that most people have copped, even in East Africa, in West Africa. They use it on their traditional weddings or traditional functions. This asali, it is a piece of long cloth that they just drop it on their body with a skirt, made of also a skirt, and they put a small or a fancy blouse inside. That one called asali. Then we have pavada. Pavada is majorly for young girls. Also, when you come to Dubai or UAE, you will see that kind of dressing. Then we have kulta. Kulta is kind of a, or pajama is kind of a cloth, two-piece cloth with an opening in front. This is also mainly put on by Indians, and I've seen it with Nepalese and some Sri Lankans, majorly on functions. You find it will be a two-piece, and they will look very beautiful. Sometimes it is long, sometimes it is medium or short. So that one is part of the traditional wears you'll find here. I might not have mentioned one of the traditional wear for you or for, but I'm mentioning the popular ones that you'll find here. What is the next dress code you should mind of as far as Dubai is concerned? It is swimsuits. Swimsuits come in because most of the people, this is a desert, and most of the people go to beaches, they go to swimming pools. So what do they expect? Or what do you expect compared to what you had? Yes, here, your swimsuit, yes, are allowed. Two-piece, one-piece, others say it is only one piece, others say it is two-piece, but it is allowed. You can go to the beach and put on your swimsuit, whether it is 4-piece or 2-piece or 1-piece, but it has to be decent. Remember this and note it well. Out of the beach or swimming pool, you are not supposed to move with the swimsuit. Even you're not supposed to put something transparent on top of your body, on top of the swimsuit to be seen. The Dubai law or UAE law is keep your body private. You either, especially when you're going to public areas, you will even find some signposts, dress decent. So make sure you know that when you're going for swimming, when you're going to the beach, you have to go when you've covered yourself, but when you reach there, you can put on your swimsuit, and at the same time, after finishing within that locality, you change and put on normal clothes. The question will be like, I met somebody putting on a swimsuit or something transparent. That was their luck, but according to the law and the constitution of Dubai, decency has to be observed. So you have to observe it. Still, on swimming, half naked, chest open, sunbathing is not allowed. You are not permitted, or you are not supposed to sunbathe openly, chest and everything out. No, it's not allowed. You will be subjected to high fines or imprisonment or deportation, something like that. However, if you're in a tourist hotels, like on their pools, you can be open, but still you have to take care that it's not as too much as public as expected. Swimsuits, yes, are allowed, but in designated areas. You can never take a swimsuit from that area where it is supposed to be. There are a lot of questions in your mind right now as you watch this video, because I know someone is asking, really, Christine, are these conditions, are these laws applicable in UAE? I see on streets girls putting on very short skirts, very short dresses. In fact, some walk with not short, it is micro short. But the fact remains, Dubai do respect the decency as far as the dress code is concerned. Yes, I've seen them with short skirts. I've seen them with short blouses, as in terms of somebody puts on a blouse instead of a dress. People are moving on the streets. Yes, they do, but they are breaking the law. If the day reaches and they catch her, or they catch you, or they catch that guy that is putting on a very bad attire, he will be fined, or he will be in prison, or he will face charges. So according to Dubai, you are supposed to put on something that covers your shoulders, that covers the tummy, that covers up to below the knees. It shouldn't be transparent, irrespective of where you are. Whether you are on the streets, whether you are in the mall, shopping malls, in public places, you have to be decent. So I agree. I know somebody's having that question in the mindset, but I'm seeing them. And as even we discuss right now, people are walking almost naked, but it's because they are ignorant of the law. And the time they are caught, they face it. So are you coming to Dubai as a tourist, or as a visitor, you're new, or you want to come and settle in Dubai? No, decency is part of UAE. Irrespective of whether you are a local or Emirati or you're not, you are an expatriate. So we go to the third one. The third one is very interesting and most of you might love it or might wonder why it happens. Really, in UAE and in Dubai particular, most people put on office wear as long as it is below the knees, and as long as it does not show the shoulders. You have to cover yourself, especially when you are going to government offices or public offices. You have to cover yourself. I have one experience. I was going to some big office, I think very big office, but it is public government. I went with a short dress. Short, as you think, was the level of the knees. I could not be allowed to enter. In public areas like mosques, they normally put provision for abaya or long clothes for people who don't come with their long or respected clothes. So you have a chance to go and put it on, then you enter, you pray, or you do what you're supposed to do. Make sure that if you're going to any public office or government office, you have to be decent dressed. I even advise that whenever you're going within Dubai or in anywhere, even in far areas of Dubai, like Alain, like Fujairah, like far in Ras Kaima, you have to dress decent, because that's the rule, that's the law. Have you ever wondered why most people in UAE put on long clothes? That's the real reason. Then now we come to private businesses. Most people in Dubai, especially private owned businesses, however much big the company is, most of them put on uniforms. Uniforms, they might be smart, but it has to be uniform. Like me, I put on uniform when I'm going to work. We have very many sets of uniforms, very beautiful uniform. So when you are walking in Dubai, you'll see different kinds of t-shirts uniform, different kinds of every kind of uniform from private business owners. They prefer people to put on uniform. One, it will be easy for you to be recognized as a staff. Two, it also brings in a better image for the company. It's part of marketing. Three, it also brings in that decency for the staff. Because like in my company, if you put on trousers, they've given you enough trousers, but very tight, it's not allowed. However, some people do it. You are not supposed to show body parts. So in my experience staying in Dubai, these are the points, very major points to note. When you're planning to come to Dubai or when you're in Dubai, one, decency. You have to cover your body parts, whether you're a man or a woman. You make sure that your chest is covered. And when it comes to Ramadan, that one, it's hot. You have to be very careful. The second point, avoid clothes which are very transparent and they show nudity. Topless, those pajamas that they are very short, avoid them, else you face charges.
My name is Tabitha Bwari Mungedi, and I'm a Kenyan by birth and a Nigerian living by marriage and living in the UAE for 7 years now, if I've not lost count. I'm a mother, a wife, a friend, a sister. Yes, the dress code, I thought that the dress code in the UAE, you are dressed, okay, yes, the dress code. I thought the dress code in the UAE, you have to dress like them. You have to wear the sheila, you have to wear the abayas and the kanduras, but that's not the case. In the UAE, yes, modesty is the key. You have to dress well. And for me, that was not an issue at all because I've grown up knowing you dress to what you're comfortable in and make other people comfortable. Yeah. So like if I'm dressed in something that I feel I'm not comfortable, I have to be pulling it down. That's enough for me. Yeah, I don't do that. Or something that if I see my father, I have to be hiding. I don't do that. So in the UAE, they believe in modest dressing, but not necessarily they don't force you to be dressing like them. That's one thing. I see people who walk in the streets with bum shorts, with sleeveless clothes, of course, but only not in the holy month. That's the Ramadan time. That only thing. You have to be very careful. And the other thing I thought in the UAE, and I didn't get that, was like when I get to the UAE, I'll have a big house thing all to myself, maybe a bungalow or a mansionette, but that's not the case. Yes, you can have that, but housing in the UAE is very expensive, so even owning a one-bedroom apartment,
Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, my friends, my family, my fans all over the world. This is Christine on Immaculate'sShow with the last episode of this week. Sincerely, I'm very grateful for the DMs that have been coming in. So I have to say, bravo, God bless you, keep doing that, and let us roll into the next episode of this week. But before doing that, I would love to appreciate all the fans that are sending in these DMs, especially from Somalia. My fans from Dubai, you're wonderful. My fans from Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, USA, Canada, you're great to me. You're very great. You're very great. There are a lot of concern and also some queries that you have put across. But today, before we start this week's episode about the truth or my experience in Dubai, let me first take you through one of the concern. My fans from Nigeria and from Somalia, they have put this query across concerning Dubai and UAE that most people don't know. the difference between UAE, or the similarity between UAE and Dubai. So go with me to this. At least for a short time, I want to clear your doubts about it. UAE is United Arab Emirates, and UAE consists of 7 emirates, or we can call them states or cities, of which Dubai happens to be one of the emirates, or one of the states or cities that are within UAE. Dubai is known all over the world because of its business and the welcoming state. So that one is automatic. That's why Dubai is known all over. Then we have Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi is the capital city of UAE. Then we have Sharjah, we have Ajman, we have Queen, we have Ras Kaima, we have Fujairah. So those makes them 7 emirates within UAE. They came together and they made UAE. So this week I have for you our beautiful guests. I'll take them over and they will tell you exactly this topic, how hot it is. And they are going to tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. But before that, let me take you through our topic of this week. Our topic of this week is about family reality in UAE. What do you think? Or what I thought when I was coming about the family in UAE and what I found out. But before they tell you the experience and what I experienced, I need to give you some of the requirements for you to have a family in UAE, or for you to live comfortably in UAE. Yes, in UAE and in particular in Dubai, you can have a family. A family starts from 2 and above. It's very possible. It's very 100% possible. But what do you need, or what do you require for your loved ones, your children, your wifey, your husband, or your father, your grandfather to stay in this country? So let's say you are the breadwinner, or you are the first person that came to UAE, or you're planning to come to UAE. What do you need exactly? I'll give you some few points. Exactly, that's what you need. Later, if you want to calculate, if you want to go in figures, if you want to go in details, you can send a message. I'll guide you. First things first. The first thing for you to settle with your family in UAE, you need an entry visa. An entry visa is a permission for you to come in UAE. You can come in as a visitor or as a tourist. It always not much money depending on the country you come from. Like me from Uganda, an entry visa will start from 1,400, that is 1,400,000, which is for 3 months. Why 3 months? Because it allows you to organize for another visa that makes you stay for a long time. So depending on your country, you need an entry visa. Then the second, you need residence visa. A residential visa, you get it when you're already in United Arab Emirates. And who processes this? It is either your person that is sponsoring you. So can I take you through with my guests? Have been living in UAE and they have a family. Yeah, they have different statuses. One is in Sharjah, one is in Dubai. I'm going to request them to introduce themselves to you. Please kindly tell the viewers of Immaculate Show, how many years have you been in Dubai? Kindly can you tell us what makes your life easy? And from whatever I've been telling the public, do you think you can add something there? How is it simple and how is it challenging to raise a family in United Arab Emirates? Hello, Mrs. Toli Jesu. You're most welcome to Immaculate Show. May you introduce yourself to our viewers who are watching all over the world.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time of the day you're watching this. Ekaro, Ekasto, Ekale, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Toli Jesu. Thank you so very much for having me on this show, Sister Christine. I do not take this for granted. Thank you for this privilege. It's been an amazing years knowing you and being a friend to you.
How long have you been in UAE?
I have been in UAE since 2015, and then officially our family began. When I mean family, it means we started having we had our child in 2017.
For the time that you have been in and within UAE with the family, how do you wind it all?
First of all, I would like you to know that your child is solely your responsibility in the UAE. No one else is going to take that responsibility for you.
Which type of a person are you while in UAE?
When I say that, I mean I'm talking to you as a resident, not I'm not talking about someone that is a citizen. I mean someone that migrated from another country. I am from Nigeria, so I and my husband were from Nigeria, from Yoruba tribe of Nigeria to be precise. And then we are here as residents of this country. So I'll be talking to you as a resident of UAE.
What does it take to have or raise a family in UAE?
Okay, like I said, your child is your responsibility, your family is your responsibility. And what your child gets as a resident of this country is basically being a resident of this country, nothing else. It means that your child is free to walk around in this nation and your child can go to school on your bill. But I'm not going to be talking about that for now. First of all, I will let you know also that if you are planning to start raising your family in the UAE, the first thing to get done is to make sure that your wife has a medical insurance before she gets pregnant. I will say that again. Make sure that your wife or you as a wife, you have a medical insurance before you get pregnant.
How should one process this medical insurance?
So for example, you are planning to get pregnant in the month of March. Make sure your insurance starts already by January, so that when you will be delivering that baby at the end of the year, at the end of that 9 months, your insurance can cover for that baby. Once you go for the visa application with all your documents intact, which include your bank statement account to be sure that you are receiving the salary of 4,000 or 5,000 minimum, and then you go with the sponsor's passport, and also you go with your tenancy contract that has the name of the sponsor on the same contract. You go with your own visa, and then you apply for the visa. Once the visa is approved for the child, your child will be able to have 2 years residency visa with his Emirate ID card or Emirate ID card. And once you are done with that, you need to get a medical insurance for your child. It's very important, because you don't want to have a case whereby your child has to go to the hospital and then you have to go and pay by yourself. So basically, these are the things that you need to start raising a family in the UAE. But just have it at the back of your mind, your child is your sole responsibility, including the schooling, the feeding, education, residency of this child. Everything depends on you.
For a while now, Madam Terjesu, you've been in UAE with your family. How have you been coping?
The fact that I go to work and then I come back home and then I am able to meet my family, it's the blessing.
Precisely. How do families here in UAE be compared to families back home?
Actually, not like when you're in Africa. When you're in Africa, you will definitely have someone that can come around to help you out with something. You have a cousin, you have a younger one, a brother, a sister that can always come around to help you out with 1 or 2 things. But here it's not like that. So basically, you have to get everything done by yourself, or you look for a support system that can help you out. For example, for me, I get some cleaning company to come clean my house for me once in a month. So what I do is I do my cleaning by myself every weekend, because we actually work 6 days in a week. Okay, so I do my cleaning by myself every weekend, but thorough cleaning I contract it out for a company, and so that's how I get my cleaning done. And then the same thing happens to cooking. I buy everything in bulk, then I try to do my cooking as well in bulk, so that every day once I come back from work, at least I'm sure that I can always bring out food from the freezer and warm it, and maybe just cook some little thing, maybe rice, or make some swallow from Nigeria.
Thank you very much. You're most welcome to Immaculate Show. May you introduce yourself to our viewers who are watching.
Hi, my name is Tabitha, and I'm a mother, a wife, and I'm living in the UAE, that's the United Arab Emirates, in an emirate called Fujairah. So,
Where is that located?
it's one of the emirates which is in the northern emirate.
How is it like to have a family in UAE?
I must say it's easy and not really easy. Why did I say that? One, you have some things that you need to have a family, like requirements.
What things do you need to have a family in UAE?
One, you can't have a family in the UAE if you're not married legally.
For you in particular, what type of a family do you have?
So let me say it's a spouse. I'm going to talk about a spouse because I'm not talking about my mother, my brother. No, I'm going to talk about a family, a nuclear family. That's a husband, wife, a mother, father, children, or mother and father. So the first thing you need, the requirement is you have to have a sponsor. One of you has to sponsor the other. So for example, in my case, my husband has sponsored my stay in the UAE. So I'm on husband visa. And the husband visa you can't get, you have some requirements that you need to get that. You have to have a valid marriage certificate that is attested from your country and the UAE. So it's not something fake. You have to confirm that you are married legally. Two, you have to have a house contract, like a tenancy contract, like you have a house where you're going to live. And of course, you have to have a certain amount of a minimum salary, where they start a cut of around 5,000. So those are the major requirements. So let's go directly to the point. How is it? How did I get it? In the UAE, it's everyone for himself and God for us all.
How is it like to have children with you in UAE?
When you have a family and children come in, actually when you're like a family and the children are not yet in, it's a little bit easier. But when children come in, then it forces some people, like one of them has to stay home to take care of the child, or get someone who can take care of the child, like a nanny or a friend, kind of.
Then, how expensive are the house helpers when you need one?
It's really quite pricey, I would lie. It's like a minimum of 1,000 you can get someone. And so the childcare is a bit expensive.
I know families need safety. How well is it okay for someone like you?
The safety and everything, I really appreciate that for the UAE. You know, when you leave the child at home, you're safe because cameras are allowed, of course, but you have to tell the person in the house, like, you have a camera. Is that in the corridors, most of the buildings, they have cameras. So if anything wants to happen, like anything fishy, of course, it can be recorded. You know, it's safe. There is eyes everywhere. Then that's the part I can feel it's a little bit, better. For the terms of housing, yes, you can't have a family and stay in a bed space, because you understand that in those bed spaces there are sharing rooms and everything. For privacy purposes, of course, you have to have a house. That's why even it's a requirement for you to have a husband or wife visa in the UAE, whereby you have to have your own house.
Yes, I see. Is it that cheap for one to get a house?
Truly, the house in the UAE are not really cheap, but they go as per, like your affordability. That's what I say. So, like getting a house, yeah, it's not really very cheap. So you need to plan for that.
About work and the family, how do these two relate?
Then I feel in terms of work, most of the time work schedules don't match. So you could be living as a husband and wife, but you meet in like 2 hours or 1 hour in a day, or sometimes even when one is coming in, another one is going out. But that's life, right?
Conclusively, what is your say about UAE and families?
And I feel it's a place where they value families a lot. Like you, family, there is a way you are. They look at you like, not like when you're single. People feel like you are here with a different motive or something like that. So they love family so much as a country, and I'm happy to be here, of course, with my family, and thank you to what has been, UAE has been providing for us.
That is wonderful. Any challenge in that relation?
Yeah, the only problem or the only advantage is that you can't have a stay forever, like a citizenship for the UAE. So if you're bringing your family, know that you're bringing them for on a renewal basis, like every 2 years, every 3 years you have to renew their papers, and that's how it works. So of course the renewal and everything is money. So those are other things that you need to calculate on. But anyway, it's for me, we're here like in a family, and it's that. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity, and God bless.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for listening to me, and thank you very much for listening to my guests that honored me and accepted the invite of today. It's really wonderful. Do you have any query about all these points we have been talking about? Do you want to settle in UAE? Kindly drop down your comment or your query, or you can send it on my WhatsApp or on my email. Please follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, all we are there. Even on TikTok, we are there as Immaculate's Show. If you have any query, please ask it on these points of requirements of being in UAE as a family. We'll give you the figures depending on which country you come from, and we'll do more elaboration about them. Thank you very much. Remember to subscribe. Please subscribe. And if also you're on this channel for a long time, please give it a thumbs up and a like. Remember, I love you so much. I love you for loving me. I love you for loving us. Thank you very much. Have a nice week. God bless you all. Bye-bye.